Hey guys, Dead by Dawn 3 here, back for another episode of Must See Horror, and on today's episode of Must See Horror, I talk about a true horror classic, one of the granddaddies of slasher films, and a truly brilliant film, and that is Alfred Hitchcock's classic, Psycho. I just finished watching this movie, so while I have all of my thoughts in my head, let me go ahead and get to it. First off, let me talk about the edition I have. This is the Universal 100th Anniversary Edition, which looks pretty nice. You know, right down there it says Psycho in 1960, the date it was released. And one thing I love about these editions is that you open them up, it's got a poster and, pictures all the way around. And it's got tons of information. Like, first, this is information simply about the film. And then over here, Look Inside, which is like trivia facts and things like that. Here's the back. And it's got tons of bonus features, including newsreel footage of the release of Psycho. It's got a documentary of the shower scene, the Psycho Archives production photographs, behind the scenes photos, the storyboard of the shower scene, the legendary shower scene, lobby cards, posters. It's just a really nice edition. Let me go ahead and get it out of its slipcase and I'll talk more about the film. What the DVD looks like. Yeah. Okay, first of all, this was the first Alfred Hitchcock movie I've ever seen, and one of the earliest movies I've ever seen. I've seen other films from the 50s and from the 60s back when I watched this. I watched this a very long time ago, but I never saw a movie that was shot this way. Alfred Hitchcock has a way of setting the mood of a film to whatever it is. All of his films always have sort of a dark undertone. One thing I really liked about it is at the beginning of the film, it actually tells you, like where the place was. It actually tells you like what town you're in. Then it tells you the date. Then it actually even tells you the time of day it is, which I don't really see a lot of people do in films. And I really do that. Alfred Hitchcock is a true genius when it comes to horror films. One of the greatest horror directors to ever. All of his films are great. But if I had to pick one, I'd say Psycho is my favorite one, next to The Birds. Let me actually get into the actual movie now. Basically, the movie has so many great scenes that I can't really describe what's my favorite scene. If I had to pick my favorite, it would definitely have to be the scene of the detective getting stabbed in the face and falling down the stairs. And one thing I loved about it is that you don't see his legs while he's falling. You actually see him, the upper part of his body, and you see his arms flailing around. And it almost looks like he's hovering, almost, or sort of just falling just down the stairs. And it's such an it's a very effective scene. Instead of just seeing somebody just fall down the steps, you actually see him and he's just tumbling down the steps, and it's like he's, his arms twirling. It looks like he's like I said, not hovering, but like just the way that it's done is very effective. And of course, the famous shower scene, which I love. The one thing that I think is so effective about the shower scene is, first thing first, the woman who gets stabbed. From the point the movie begins, you assume that she is the main character and that she's going to be the one that lives through the whole film, and she's going to be the one that discovers everything, and then she dies. And it's really cool. One thing that Alfred Hitchcock does, which every person that talks about this film always says, is that it's almost a bloodless scene. And that's one thing that I love about it, is of how that during the scene when she's getting stabbed, you don't see her getting stabbed at all. And you don't see, you hardly see any blood, you don't see any of the knife going through, you hardly see anything, yet it's so effective, and people were so disturbed by it, because they actually thought, like, oh my god, I saw someone, and they were all And that one scene that everyone remembers is the shower scene. It's such an amazing film. Such an amazing scene. Yeah, sorry, I can't talk tonight. But yes, very amazing, effective scene. I love that scene. This truly is the granddaddy of all slasher films. It really started the whole idea of, like, you can be scary without gore. And that is truly what I believe. Like, some of the best horror films are shot with hardly any gore, like Halloween, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Psycho is definitely a true representation of that. And it's also like of how you can be completely creepy and without hardly any blood, hardly any scares. The guy who plays Psycho, I forget his name, forgive me, but he has an amazing performance of, Norman Bates. He's just, of how he's just so silent and just so creepy, especially in that scene when he's talking to the main woman. It's just when he's just sitting there and talking about of how he has all the animals stuffed and hung up on the wall, and every man goes a little crazy sometimes, and it's just such a eerie scene because when you first see him, he's a very likable character until you get into that scene, until you actually get into that scene. When you first see him, you're like, oh, he seems, because it's one of those guys where you never expect to be a serial killer, and that's why he is the perfect serial killer for a film. It's the biggest psychopaths are the ones you never expect. And his performance is very, very great in the film, especially when he's having that fighting between his mother. It's just always cool of how that he can be so out of it, and of how that he can be into that mindset of like his mother is almost controlling him, is what he believes, and of how he just sort of created his mother to try and make it look like she's the one doing the killing when it's really him. It's very, very effective, and this is definitely in my opinion, the granddaddy of all slasher films. I believe that this is what truly started it all. Like I said, not much more I can say about it. Creepy, very awesome horror atmosphere. Truly a classic film, and probably one of the most highly recommended horror films you can possibly think about. But like I said, guys, if you haven't seen Psycho, I highly recommend you check it out. I'm sure everyone has, but this is definitely a movie that every horror fan should see. It's really like a landmark horror film, one of the best, and I cannot talk about it more, cannot recommend it more. So if you guys, so thank you guys for watching my video, and thanks for watching all my other videos. If you've seen Psycho, I'd love to hear what you guys think about it. But anyway, guys, this is my episode of Must See Horror, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.